Deep in the void between stars, humanity's most advanced research station, Horizon Point, hung like a gleaming diamond against the cosmic dark. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the Quantum Observatory's main viewing port, her dark eyes fixed on the holographic displays that surrounded her. 20 years of searching for alien life, and now, on an ordinary Tuesday, everything was about to change. Dr. Chen, the station's AI, spoke with unusual urgency. "I'm detecting quantum distortions that don't match any known natural phenomena." Sarah's hands moved swiftly across the holographic interface, bringing up detailed scans. The distortions appeared as ripples in the fabric of space-time itself, spreading outward like waves from a stone dropped in a cosmic pond. But these weren't random fluctuations. They carried patterns, information. "This isn't background noise," she muttered, more to herself than ARI. "These are technological signatures, advanced ones. The quantum telescope array, humanity's most sensitive instrument for detecting space-time anomalies, was picking up more data with each passing moment. The patterns were complex, layered with information that seemed to defy the normal laws of physics. This wasn't just evidence of alien life. It was proof of a civilization far more advanced than humanity. "Alert Director Morrison," Sarah commanded, "and get me a direct link to Earth Command." As she waited for the communications to connect, Sarah continued analyzing the data. The quantum distortions were becoming stronger, more focused. They weren't random emissions. They were deliberate signals. Someone was trying to communicate. Director James Morrison arrived at the observatory minutes later, his usually composed demeanor showing cracks of excitement. "Talk to me, Chen. What are we looking at?" "First contact, sir," Sarah replied. Her voice steadied despite her racing heart. "But there's something else. These signals, they're not just messages. They're distress calls." Morrison's expression darkened. "Distress calls? You're certain?" Sarah nodded, pointing to specific patterns in the data stream. "The quantum signatures are erratic, showing signs of damage and desperate attempts at maintenance. Whatever civilization we're detecting, they're in trouble." The holographic displays suddenly flickered, and new data began pouring in. The quantum distortions were changing, becoming more coherent. Aria's voice filled the observatory. "Incoming transmission. The signal is self-organizing into our communication protocols." A three-dimensional image materialized in the center of the observatory. The alien being appeared as a shifting crystalline form, its surface refracting light in impossible ways. When it spoke, its words were translated into English by Aria's advanced linguistic systems. "To any civilization receiving this message, we are the Meridians. Our existence is threatened by entities we cannot defeat. We transmit this warning not to seek help, for our fate is sealed, but to prevent others from sharing our doom." Sarah and Morrison exchanged glances. The alien's voice carried a weight of despair that transcended species barriers. "We detected your quantum observation technologies," the Meridian continued. "You are younger than us, but your understanding of quantum mechanics is unique, different. You see patterns we missed, possibilities we never considered. This is why we choose to warn you, even as our own civilization faces extinction." The hologram flickered, showing signs of degradation. "They come from between spaces, entities we call the Void Heralds. They do not conquer or negotiate. They consume entire civilizations, erased from existence. We are their latest prey, but we will not be their last." "Can we help?" Sarah asked before Morrison could stop her. "Our technology." "No," the Meridian interrupted. "You must prepare. Your species has potential we have never seen before. Your quantum theories, while primitive by our standards, approach the universe from angles we never considered. This uniqueness must be preserved." The hologram began to break apart, the quantum signal showing signs of massive interference. "They are coming. We cannot maintain this connection much longer. Remember us, humans. Learn from our fate. And most importantly, the image destabilized further, the Meridian's final words coming through in fragments. Watch the spaces between. They hide there, waiting. The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving the observatory in stunned silence. Sarah's hands trembled as she tried to re-establish the connection, but the quantum distortions were already fading. RIA. Morrison spoke first, his voice tight with tension. Upload all data to secure storage and transmit copies to Earth Command. Priority Alpha. Already done, Director, the AI responded. Earth Command is requesting immediate conference. Sarah barely heard them. Her mind was racing through the implications of what they'd just witnessed. Humanity had finally made contact with an advanced alien civilization, only to watch them face extinction in real time. The Meridian's warning echoed in her thoughts. Your understanding of quantum mechanics is unique. Dr. Chen. Morrison's voice pulled her back to the present. Earth Command wants your analysis. What exactly makes our quantum theories different from the Meridians? Sarah turned to face him, her expression grave. We approach quantum mechanics from a perspective of uncertainty and probability. Most of our theories are based on accepting and working with chaos rather than trying to control it. If the Meridians found this noteworthy, she paused, considering the implications. It might mean we're seeing something fundamental about reality that they missed. Morrison nodded slowly. Something that might help us against these void heralds. Maybe, Sarah replied, turning back to the quantum observatory's displays. But first, we need to understand what we're really dealing with. The Meridian said to watch the spaces between. So that's exactly what we're going to do. As if in response to her words, the quantum sensors began picking up new distortions, different from the Meridian signals. These were darker, somehow wrong, like tears in the fabric of reality itself. Sarah felt a chill run down her spine as she realized what they were seeing. The Void Heralds were coming, and humanity's first contact had just become a desperate race against time. They needed to understand their enemy, develop defenses, and prepare for a threat that had already destroyed a civilization far more advanced than their own. But unlike the Meridians, humanity had something different, a perspective that might just give them a fighting chance. Sarah began recalibrating the quantum telescope array, her movements precise and determined. Area. Start a new project file. Classification. Omega priority. Project name. She paused, thinking of the Meridian's final warning about the spaces between. Project Silent Vanguard. 3 days after the Meridian transmission, Horizon Point had transformed from a research station into humanity's first line of defense. The usually quiet corridors now buzzed with military personnel and quantum physicists from Earth's top institutions. In the heart of it all, Dr. Sarah Chen hadn't left the quantum observatory except for brief rest periods. Another anomaly detected, Area announced, highlighting a region of space that seemed to fold in on itself. Pattern matches previous observations of Void Herald activity. Sarah studied the data with bloodshot eyes. The holographic display showed reality itself being warped, space-time bending in ways that should have been impossible. But unlike the Meridian's elegant quantum manipulations, these distortions were brutal, almost predatory. They're getting closer, Commander David Wright observed from his newly established tactical station. The veteran Space Force officer had been assigned to Horizon Point within hours of the first contact. But they're not moving in a straight line. Why? Sarah manipulated the 3D star map, tracking the Void Herald's progress. They're hunting, she realized. Look at the pattern. They're systematically searching every quantum fold in space. They're tracking the Meridians through their technological signatures. The observatory doors slid open as Director Morrison entered with a group of Earth's leading quantum physicists. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, whose work on quantum entanglement had revolutionized human understanding of spacetime, immediately moved to Sarah's station. Dr. Chen. Yuki's voice carried barely contained excitement despite the grave situation. Your theory about human quantum perception. We've confirmed it. Our mathematics isn't just different from the Meridian's approach. It's fundamentally incompatible. Sarah turned from her displays. Incompatible how? The Meridians built their technology on principles of quantum certainty, Yuki explained, bringing up equations on a nearby holographic screen. They learned to manipulate spacetime by forcing quantum states to conform to classical physics. But she grinned, we embrace the chaos. Human quantum theories are based on probability and uncertainty, Commander Wright said slowly, beginning to understand. We never tried to control quantum states entirely. Exactly, Yuki confirmed. And that's why the Void Heralds might not see us coming. Their hunting patterns suggest they track civilizations by looking for attempts to impose order on quantum chaos. But our technology, she gestured to the quantum observatory. We work with the chaos, surf it like a wave rather than trying to dam it. A new alarm suddenly blared through the station. Araya's voice carried unusual urgency. Multiple quantum distortions detected. Configuration matches Meridian signatures, but heavily degraded. The holographic displays erupted with data as 3 Meridian ships materialized near the station. Unlike the elegant crystalline structures they glimpsed in previous scans, these vessels were damaged, their quantum fields flickering like dying stars. They found us, Sarah whispered, her heart racing. They actually made it here. The largest Meridian vessel transmitted immediately, its message carrying the same strange beauty as their first contact, but now laced with desperation. Horizon Point Station. We seek sanctuary. We are all that remains of the Meridian Science Council. The Void Heralds have consumed our core worlds. Commander Wright was already moving. Araya, activate emergency docking protocols, alert Earth Command and begin evacuation procedures for non-essential personnel. Wait, Sarah interrupted, studying the quantum readings. Something's wrong. The distortions around their ships, they're not just damage patterns. Dr. Tanaka saw it too. They're being traced. The quantum wake from their engines. Her eyes widened in horror. They led the Void Heralds straight to us. The Meridian transmission continued, confirming their fears. We have hours at most before they follow our path. But we bring you something worth the risk. The sum total of Meridian knowledge, and more importantly, our observations of the Void Heralds themselves. Director Morrison's voice was tight but controlled as he addressed the aliens. We'll grant you sanctuary. But we need that data now. We have to prepare. The Meridian ships began their approach to Horizon Point's docking bays, their quantum fields harmonizing with the station's own protective barriers. As they drew closer, Sarah could see the true extent of the damage. These weren't just battle scars. Entire sections of the crystalline vessels had been consumed, leaving behind voids that hurt her eyes to look at. The data transfer has begun, Araya announced. Initial analysis suggests the package contains complete schematics of Meridian quantum technology, plus detailed observations of Void Herald attack patterns. Sarah was already diving into the incoming data, her mind racing to correlate it with their own observations. These readings, the Void Heralds don't just consume matter and energy. They consume probability itself. They collapse quantum states not into certainty, but into nothingness. Which is why the Meridians couldn't fight them, Yuki realized. Their technology tried to impose certainty on quantum states, making them perfect targets. But our approach might be our salvation. Sarah finished. She turned to Commander Wright and Director Morrison. We need to get this data to Earth immediately. And we need to start working on a defense system that doesn't try to control quantum states, but rather, she smiled grimly, one that weaponizes uncertainty itself. Morrison nodded. You have full authorization. Whatever resources you need. Sir, ARI interrupted. Long-range quantum sensors are detecting massive distortions at the edge of the solar system. The patterns match the Void Herald signatures in the Meridian data. They all turned to watch as the holographic display showed reality itself beginning to tear apart at the fringes of their home system. Humanity's greatest test was arriving sooner than anyone had expected. But as Sarah looked at the quantum equations flowing across her screen, she felt something unexpected: hope. The Meridians had tried to fight chaos with order and lost. But humans had always thrived in chaos. Now they just had to prove it on a quantum scale, with the fate of 2 civilizations hanging in the balance. "Begin Project Silent Vanguard Phase 2, Sarah commanded. "And someone get me more coffee. We've got a lot of work to do, and very little time to do it." Earth's orbital shipyards had never seen anything like it. In just 2 weeks, humanity had transformed its entire space industry into a war machine, not for conquest, but for survival. Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the observation deck of the newly commissioned defense platform Aegis 1, watching as construction drones swarmed around the skeletal frame of humanity's first quantum warfare vessel. "The quantum uncertainty drive is ready for installation," Dr. Tanaka reported, her hologram flickering beside Sarah. "We've incorporated the Meridian data, but with our own twist. Instead of trying to control quantum states, the drive system actively generates and maintains multiple probability fields." Sarah nodded, studying the technical readouts. The ship under construction barely resembled traditional human spacecraft. Its hull was designed to exist in multiple quantum states simultaneously, making it nearly impossible for void heralds to target. It was beautiful in a strange way, not with the crystalline elegance of Meridian ships, but with the raw power of chaos itself. "The Meridian Science Council has reviewed our modifications," Araya announced. "They say it's either brilliant or insane. Possibly both." "That's humanity in a nutshell," Commander Wright remarked as he entered the observation deck. "How are our guests adapting?" The surviving Meridians had been a source of both invaluable knowledge and constant surprise. Their crystalline forms housed consciousnesses so different from human minds that even basic communication had been a challenge at first. But their shared dedication to survival had bridged many gaps. "They're still struggling to understand our approach," Sarah admitted. "The concept of intentionally generating quantum uncertainty goes against everything their civilization built itself upon. But they're learning. And so are we." The station shuddered slightly as another quantum anomaly rippled through nearby space. The Void Heralds were getting closer, their presence now detectable even without specialized equipment. They were consuming their way through the outer solar system, leaving behind regions of space where probability itself had been devoured. "Latest simulations are complete," Araya reported. "The quantum uncertainty weapons show a 68% chance of affecting Void Herald matter. Not perfect, but better than anyone else has managed," Wright finished. "The Meridians never got above 12% with their certainty-based weapons." Sarah turned from the window, moving to the central holographic display where the complete defense plan was laid out. Hundreds of ships under construction, each incorporating the new quantum uncertainty drives. Defense platforms being retrofitted with probability weapons. And at the heart of it all, Project Silent Vanguard's masterstroke, the Quantum Chaos Net. "Status on the Chaos Net?" she asked. "Phase 1 deployment is at 82%, Araya responded. "The satellite network is in position around Earth and Mars. Each node is generating its own unique quantum field, creating a web of overlapping uncertainties." The Chaos Net had been Sarah's idea, born from humanity's peculiar understanding of quantum mechanics. Instead of trying to shield planets with traditional defenses, they were surrounding them with fields of pure quantum probability. Any Void Herald attempting to approach would have to navigate through an ever-changing maze of possibility, where the laws of physics themselves became uncertain. "Message from the Meridian Science Council," Araya announced. "They've completed their analysis of the Void Herald hunting patterns. The entities are accelerating their consumption rate. Estimated time until they reach Earth's orbit, 72 hours. Commander Wright's expression hardened. "Are we ready?" "No," Sarah answered honestly. "But we're as ready as we can be. The first wave of quantum ships will be operational in 24 hours. The Chaos Net will be fully deployed in 48. After that," she shrugged, "we make history or we become history." "The Meridians want to help fight," Wright said. Their ships are damaged, but they've adapted some of our uncertainty principles to their quantum drives. They say they owe us that much for giving them shelter. Sarah studied the tactical display, watching as more defense platforms came online around Earth. Humanity had accomplished in weeks what should have taken years, driven by the kind of desperate innovation that had always characterized their species. They hadn't chosen this fight, but they would face it with everything they had. Dr. Chen, ARIA interrupted her thoughts. The quantum sensors are picking up something new. The Void Heralds. They're changing their approach pattern. It appears they've detected our defense preparations. The holographic display shifted, showing the entity's new trajectory. Instead of their usual methodical consumption pattern, they were gathering, concentrating their presence into something that defied normal space-time. They're adapting, Sarah realized. They'd never encountered a civilization that could actually hurt them before. They're learning. So will we, Wright stated firmly. Humanity's greatest strength isn't our technology or our understanding of quantum mechanics. It's our ability to adapt, to look at impossible situations, and find a way through. Sarah smiled grimly, remembering the Meridian's first warning about humanity's unique perspective. They hadn't understood then just how right they were. Humans didn't just think differently about quantum mechanics. They thought differently about everything. Where other species saw certainty or doom, humans saw possibilities. ARIA, she commanded, begin final deployment sequence for all defensive assets, and send a message to the Meridian Science Council. Tell them. She paused, choosing her words carefully. Tell them we're about to show them why humanity never learned to accept impossibility. As alarms began to sound throughout the station, signaling the beginning of Earth's final preparations, Sarah felt a strange calm settle over her. The quantum uncertainty drives, the probability weapons, the chaos net, they were all expressions of humanity's unique approach to existence. They didn't try to impose order on chaos. They embraced it, shaped it, turned it into a weapon. The Void Heralds were about to learn what happened when they threatened a species that had evolved to thrive in uncertainty. The battle for Earth was coming, and with it, the greatest test of humanity's perspective on reality itself. They arrived like tears in reality itself. Massive dark rifts where the laws of physics simply ceased to exist. The Void Herald's approach turned the space around Earth's orbit into a nightmare of impossible geometries and collapsed quantum states. But humanity was ready. ChaosNet is operating at full capacity, ARIA announced aboard the command ship Uncertainty. All quantum probability fields are active and intersecting. Dr. Sarah Chen stood at the bridge's quantum observation station, watching as reality itself wavered and shifted around Earth. The chaos net lit up the tactical displays like a web of lightning, each node generating its own unique field of quantum uncertainty. Through the viewports, space itself seemed to shimmer and dance. Multiple Void Herald entities detected. The AI continued. They're probing the chaos net, and they're hesitating. Commander Wright, now Fleet Commander of Earth's defensive forces, allowed himself a small smile. They'd never seen anything like this before. They're used to civilizations trying to shield themselves with certainty, not probability. The Void Herald's attack began moments later. Their usual consumption technique, a systematic collapse of quantum states into nothingness, met the chaos net's ever-shifting field of possibilities. Where their void-like presence attempted to devour reality, they found only more uncertainty. First contact in 3, 2, 1. Dr. Tanaka counted down from her station. The collision between Void Herald matter and the chaos net produced effects that defied description. Where certainty met uncertainty, reality itself seemed to shudder. The entities recoiled, their usual hunting patterns disrupted by an inability to properly target anything within the quantum probability field. Launch the first wave, Wright commanded. Let's show them what humanity's been working on. The newly commissioned quantum ships moved out from Earth's orbit, their uncertainty drives creating ripples in spacetime. Unlike traditional vessels that tried to move through space, These ships existed in multiple probable locations simultaneously. Their very movement was an expression of quantum uncertainty. Probability weapons showing green across the fleet, Sarah reported. Each ship is generating its own unique quantum field, just as planned. The Void Heralds responded to the attack with a level of coordination they'd never shown in the Meridian records. Multiple entities merged together, forming a mass of anti-probability that began systematically attacking the Chaos Net's nodes. They're adapting, Sarah observed, her fingers flying across the quantum controls. Adjusting Chaos Net frequencies. Implement Protocol Schrödinger. The A's response was immediate, and the entire defensive network shifted. Instead of maintaining stable uncertainty fields, the Chaos Net began randomly shifting its quantum states. Each node now operated on its own random frequency, making it impossible for the Void Heralds to predict where and how to attack. The Meridian ships are in position, Wright announced. They're ready to implement their part of the plan. The surviving Meridian vessels, their crystalline hulls still bearing the scars of previous encounters, took up positions at key points around Earth's orbit. Their advanced quantum technology, now modified with human uncertainty principles, began generating focused beams of probability manipulation. Meridian quantum beams are contained within our uncertainty fields, Sarah confirmed. Beginning synchronization. This was the heart of humanity's defense strategy. The combination of Meridian precision with human chaos. The aliens' quantum beams, normally too predictable to affect the Void Heralds, were being channeled through fields of human-generated uncertainty. The result was devastating. Where the combined attack struck the Void Heralds, their matter didn't just take damage, it became uncertain of its own existence. The entities reeled, experiencing for the first time what it felt like to have probability itself turned against them. Multiple Void Herald entities showing signs of quantum destabilization. Araya reported. Their consumption fields are weakening. They're attempting to retreat. But humanity wasn't finished. At Sarah's command, the quantum ships began their most daring maneuver yet. Instead of maintaining safe distances, they drove straight into the heart of the Void Herald formation, their uncertainty drives operating at maximum capacity. All ships, execute probability storm protocol, Wright ordered. The effect was immediate and spectacular. Each ship became a nexus of pure quantum chaos, their drives generating waves of uncertainty that rippled through spacetime. The Void Heralds, creatures that fed on certainty and order, found themselves trapped in a maelstrom of infinite possibility. They're breaking apart, Sarah announced, her voice tight with controlled excitement. Their quantum structure can't handle this level of uncertainty. She never finished the sentence. The space occupied by the Void Herald entities suddenly erupted in a cascade of quantum effects. Where their void-like presence had been, reality itself seemed to hiccup, probability collapsing and expanding in ways that made even the quantum sensors struggle to cope. When the effects cleared, the entities were gone. Not destroyed in any conventional sense, but forced to retreat from a level of quantum uncertainty that their very nature couldn't process. Status report, Wright demanded. Chaos net integrity at 82%. Araya responded. Quantum fleet reporting minimal damage. Meridian vessels all intact. And no sign of Void Herald presence within sensor range. The bridge erupted in cheers, but Sarah kept her eyes on the quantum readings. They're not dead, she said quietly to Wright. We didn't destroy them. We just showed them something they've never encountered before. A defense they couldn't consume. Wright nodded. That's more than anyone else has managed in all recorded history. The question is, what do we do now? Sarah turned from her station, looking out at Earth floating serenely behind its web of quantum uncertainty. Now, she said, we prepare. They'll be back, and they'll have learned from this encounter. But so will we. Humanity just proved we can stand against the greatest threat the galaxy has ever known. And we did it by being exactly what we've always been, Wright added. A species that doesn't just accept chaos. We master it. As if in response to his words, the chaos net pulsed with renewed energy, its quantum probability fields shimmering like aurora around Earth. Humanity had won its first battle against the Void Heralds, not through superior technology or greater numbers, but through their unique perspective on reality itself. The war was far from over, but something fundamental had changed in the galaxy. For the first time in history, the Void Heralds had been forced to retreat. And humanity, the species that embraced uncertainty, stood ready to defend not just Earth, but any civilization threatened by the cosmic horror of absolute certainty. 1 month after the Battle of New Dawn, Horizon Point Station had become the center of a new era in galactic history. The observation deck, once dedicated solely to research, now hosted representatives from 3 different alien civilizations, survivors who had emerged from hiding after hearing of humanity's victory over the Void Heralds. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before the assembled delegation, the quantum displays behind her showing the spread of humanity's new defensive network. The Chaos Net technology was being adapted and expanded, creating safe zones throughout nearby star systems. The Void Heralds weren't destroyed, she explained to the gathered aliens, but we proved they can be fought. More importantly, we proved they can be driven back. The alien representatives, crystalline meridians, gaseous veil collective beings, and the silicon-based axiom matrix, absorbed this information with their various sensory organs. To them, humanity's achievement wasn't just military victory. It was a fundamental shift in what they believed possible. Your species, a Meridian Science Council member transmitted, their crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns, approached the problem in a way none of us considered. We sought to impose order on chaos. You chose to weaponize the chaos itself. Commander Wright, now Admiral Wright of the newly formed Quantum Defense Fleet, stepped forward. That's always been humanity's strength. We don't just adapt to chaos. We thrive in it. Our entire evolution was shaped by uncertainty and change. The holographic displays shifted, showing the modified quantum ships now patrolling the solar system. Each vessel had been further improved since the battle, incorporating lessons learned from the engagement. The uncertainty drives were more efficient, the probability weapons more focused. But we're not here to just defend Earth, Sarah continued. The Void Heralds are still out there, and they'll return. When they do, they'll have adapted to our current tactics. That's why we're proposing the Guardian Initiative. The quantum displays changed again, showing plans for a massive network of defensive installations and patrol routes. The Chaos Net technology would be shared with all allied species, adapted to work with their own unique technologies and approaches. Your civilizations each have their own strengths, Wright explained. The Meridian's quantum manipulation precision, the Veil Collective's understanding of dimensional physics, the Axiom Matrix's computational power, combined with our chaos theory approach, we can create something unprecedented. A representative of the Veil Collective shifted their gaseous form in what their cultural database indicated was agreement. You propose not just an alliance, but a fundamental change in how civilizations interact with quantum reality itself. Exactly, Sarah confirmed. The Void Heralds have existed for millions of years, consuming any civilization advanced enough to attract their attention. They succeeded because each species faced them alone, trying to fight chaos with order. But together, combining our different approaches to reality itself, we create something new. The Axiom Matrix representative finished, their silicon crystalline structure pulsing with electromagnetic patterns of excitement, a defense that evolves as fast as the threat. The meeting continued for hours, each species contributing their insights and technological expertise. The Meridians shared detailed scans of Void Herald behavior patterns. The Veil Collective offered their understanding of higher dimensional mathematics. The Axiom Matrix provided processing power that could model quantum probability fields with unprecedented accuracy. As the discussions wound down, Sarah found herself back at her old research station, staring out at the quantum probability fields that now surrounded Earth like a protective aurora. Admiral Wright joined her, both of them watching the patrol ships phase in and out of normal spacetime. "Did you ever imagine," Wright asked, "when you first detected that meridian distress signal, that it would lead to this?" Sarah smiled. Honestly, no. I was looking for evidence of alien life. Instead, we found our place in the galaxy. She gestured to the quantum displays showing the growing network of allied systems. "We're not just researchers anymore. We're not even just defenders. We're teaching other civilizations how to see reality differently. That's what makes us unique," Wright agreed. "Not our technology or our weapons, but our perspective. Every species out there tried to master the universe through order and control. We were the first to say, maybe chaos isn't the enemy." A new alert drew their attention. The quantum sensors were detecting unusual patterns at the edge of the solar system. But these weren't the devastating rifts of void heralds. These were controlled, deliberate signals. "New contact," Araya announced. "Quantum signature indicates another survivor civilization. They're requesting contact and sanctuary." Sarah and Wright exchanged glances. This was the fourth such arrival in as many weeks. Word was spreading through the galaxy. Earth was no longer just another world waiting to be consumed by the void heralds. It had become something else. A beacon of hope, a fortress of uncertainty, and a teaching ground for a new way of understanding reality. "Prepare first contact protocols," Wright ordered, "and notify our allies. Looks like the Guardian Initiative is growing again." As the new arrival began its approach, Sarah watched the quantum probability fields shimmer and dance around Earth. Humanity had found its role in the cosmic order, not as conquerors, not as victims, but as guardians and teachers. They would share their understanding of chaos and uncertainty, help other species adapt and survive, and stand ready for the day the Void Heralds returned. Because they would return, and when they did, they wouldn't find a single civilization trying to fight chaos with order. They would face an alliance of species, each contributing their unique perspective to a defense that embraced chaos itself. The galaxy was changing, one probability field at a time, and humanity was leading the way into an uncertain but hopeful future. The universe, after all, had never been about certainty. It had always been about possibility. And nobody understood possibility quite like the species that had evolved to thrive in chaos itself.